The halls of General Hospital have been buzzing with whispered conversations and worried glances. Ever since Nathan West returned from the dead, what should have been a miraculous reunion has instead become a source of growing suspicion, particularly for his sharp-eyed sister Britt Westburn, who cannot shake the feeling that something is terribly wrong with the man lying in the hospital bed, claiming to be her brother. Britt's medical instincts have been screaming warnings since the moment she first laid eyes on Nathan. While everyone else celebrated his miraculous survival, she noticed subtle inconsistencies that others missed. The way he held his head, the slight difference in his mannerisms, the hesitation in his responses, all red flags that convinced her this was not the Nathan she knew and loved. Her certainty that Nathan had died years ago when Caesar Faison shot him only strengthened her resolve to uncover the truth. The growing suspicion. As days passed, Britt's unease only intensified. Simple conversations with this supposed Nathan felt forced and artificial. His responses lacked the warmth and familiarity she expected from her brother. When she mentioned shared memories from their childhood, his replies seemed rehearsed rather than genuine. The spark of recognition she anticipated in his eyes was notably absent, replaced instead by a calculated coldness that chilled her to the bone. The medical examination revealed something else that caught Britt's trained eye: distinctive marks along Nathan's neck. These weren't typical surgical scars or medical procedures she would expect from someone who had survived a shooting. Instead, they appeared to be the telltale signs of extensive facial reconstruction or, more disturbingly, the remnants of some kind of sophisticated disguise application. These marks became the final piece of evidence she needed to confirm her worst fears. The dramatic confrontation. Unable to contain her suspicions any longer, Britt knew she had to act decisively. She carefully orchestrated a gathering of Nathan's closest friends and colleagues in his hospital room, including his former partner Dante Falconeri and other members of the Port Charles Police Department. Everyone who had known and worked with Nathan was present, creating the perfect audience for what she hoped would be a shocking revelation. As the group engaged in casual conversation around Nathan's bedside, Britt positioned herself strategically, waiting for the perfect moment when attention would be diverted. She watched Nathan carefully, noting how he interacted with each visitor. His responses to Dante's references to past cases they had worked together seemed vague and non-committal. When colleagues mentioned specific incidents from their time at the PCPD, Nathan deflected or claimed his memory was still foggy from the trauma. The opportunity Britt had been waiting for finally arrived. While the others were momentarily distracted by a discussion about hospital security protocols, she moved swiftly and decisively. In one fluid motion, she reached for Nathan's face and began pulling away what appeared to be an incredibly sophisticated mask. The room fell silent as the prosthetic facial covering came away, revealing not Nathan West, but the face of a complete stranger. The shocking revelation. The man in the hospital bed was suddenly exposed as someone entirely different. Gone were Nathan's familiar features, replaced by the face of a man none of them had ever seen before. The shock in the room was palpable as everyone processed what they were witnessing. This elaborate deception had fooled medical professionals, family members, and seasoned police officers. Dante's reaction was immediate and explosive. Years of police training kicked in as he realized the magnitude of the situation. His partner, his friend, the man he had worked alongside for years was not only still dead, but had been impersonated by this unknown individual. The betrayal cut deep, and his anger was unmistakable as he demanded answers from the imposter. "Who are you?" Dante demanded, his voice filled with rage and disbelief. The question hung in the air like a challenge, and everyone in the room waited with bated breath for the response that would hopefully explain this elaborate charade. The man who had been masquerading as Nathan remained calm despite being exposed, with an almost casual demeanor that suggested he had been prepared for this moment. He looked directly at Dante and the assembled group. "I am Liam," he announced, his voice carrying a confidence that was both unsettling and defiant. The Faison connection. But Liam's revelation was far from over. The next words out of his mouth sent shockwaves through everyone present, confirming their worst fears while raising entirely new concerns about the safety of everyone in Port Charles. "I work for Caesar Faison," Liam continued, watching as the color drained from the faces around him. "And before you start celebrating his supposed death, you should know that Faison is very much alive. He has been orchestrating events from the shadows, and my mission was to infiltrate your lives by assuming Nathan's identity." The implications of this announcement were staggering. Caesar Faison, The master manipulator and criminal mastermind who had terrorized Port Charles for years had somehow survived what everyone believed to be his death. Not only was he alive, but he had been actively working behind the scenes, pulling strings and manipulating events through carefully placed operatives like Liam. The master plan unveiled. Liam's confession painted a picture of an elaborate long-term strategy that demonstrated Faison's twisted genius for psychological warfare. The plan had been to use Nathan's identity as a gateway back into the lives of those Faison wanted to target. By assuming the identity of someone beloved and trusted, Liam had gained access to sensitive information, family secrets, and the inner workings of the Port Charles Police Department. The choice of Nathan as the identity to assume was particularly cruel and calculated. Faison knew that Nathan's return would be met with joy and celebration, making it unlikely that anyone would question his identity too closely. The emotional impact of having their beloved Nathan back would cloud judgment and create blind spots that Liam could exploit. Moreover, targeting Nathan's identity gave Faison access to his grandson James, Nathan's son with Maxie Jones. This connection to the next generation suggested that Faison's plans extended far beyond simple revenge, potentially involving attempts to influence or corrupt his own bloodline. The ripple effect. The revelation that Faison was alive sent waves of panic through the assembled group. Everyone knew the level of danger this represented, not just for those present, but for the entire community of Port Charles. Faison's previous schemes had resulted in death, destruction, and psychological trauma that had taken years to heal. The knowledge that he was once again active meant that no one was safe. Britt's vindication at having her suspicions confirmed was overshadowed by the terrifying implications of what they had learned. Her medical background and personal experience with Faison's cruelty made her acutely aware of the sophisticated planning that must have gone into this deception. The quality of the mask, the depth of Liam's preparation, and the precision of the medical procedures that had been performed all pointed to resources and capabilities that were truly frightening. Dante immediately began processing the security implications. If Faison had managed to place an operative this deep within their trusted circle, what other infiltrations might be occurring? How many other trusted individuals might actually be working for the master criminal? The paranoia that would inevitably follow this revelation would fundamentally change how everyone in Port Charles related to each other. The news of Nathan's true fate, that he remained dead and had never actually returned, would devastate those who had dared to hope for his miraculous survival. Maxie, still in her coma, would eventually learn that her joy at her husband's return had been based on an elaborate lie. The psychological cruelty of this deception was exactly the kind of torture that Faison specialized in inflicting on his victims. The immediate aftermath. As the initial shock began to wear off, the practical implications of the situation became clear. Liam's capture represented both a victory and a new set of challenges. While they had successfully identified and stopped one of Faison's operatives, they now knew that the master criminal was actively working against them with resources and planning capabilities that remained largely unknown. The investigation that would follow would need to uncover how long Liam had been preparing for this role, what information he had gathered during his time masquerading as Nathan, and most importantly, what other aspects of Faison's current plan might already be in motion. The fact that such an elaborate deception had been successfully maintained for any period of time suggested a level of preparation and support that was truly alarming. Security protocols throughout Port Charles would need to be completely reevaluated. If sophisticated masks and identity theft could be used to this degree, traditional methods of identification and verification would prove inadequate. The psychological impact on the community would be significant, as residents would need to question the identity of even their closest friends and family members. For Britt, the successful unmasking of the imposter validated her instincts while simultaneously opening up new concerns about her own safety. As the person who had exposed Faison's operative, she would likely become a primary target for retaliation. Her medical expertise and intimate knowledge of Faison's methods made her both a valuable asset in the fight against him and a significant threat to his plans. The episode concluded with more questions than answers, setting the stage for an extended storyline that would explore the full scope of Faison's current scheme. The master manipulator's return from the dead promised to bring chaos and danger back to Port Charles, with consequences that would reverberate throughout the community for months to come. The shocking revelation that Nathan's return had been an elaborate deception, orchestrated by a supposedly dead villain, demonstrated once again why General Hospital remains one of daytime television's most compelling and unpredictable dramas. Next, we will learn about the uncertain future of the beloved character Robert Scorpio, following the heartbreaking loss of actor Tristan Rogers. In the world of daytime television, where storylines twist and turn like a roller coaster, the passing of a veteran actor often leaves an indelible mark on the show's fabric. Tristan Rogers, who brought the charismatic and resourceful Robert Scorpio to life for decades, has left fans reeling with questions about how the soap opera will handle his character's fate. As whispers circulate through online forums and social media circles, many are speculating whether Robert will face a dramatic exit, perhaps through a storyline involving foul play or a quiet off-screen demise. The producers at ABC have remained tight-lipped, fueling even more curiosity and debate among the dedicated viewership. This silence isn't unusual in the industry, where decisions about legacy characters are weighed carefully to honor both the actors' contributions and the show's ongoing narrative. Robert Scorpio, after all, isn't just any role. He's a cornerstone of General Hospital's history, having navigated espionage, family dramas, and heroic rescues that have captivated audiences since the 1980s. Inventing a new layer to this, imagine if the writers drew from Robert's spy background to craft an ending where he's presumed dead in a covert operation abroad, leaving room for mysterious clues that could resurface in future plots. Delving deeper into the possibilities, the idea of killing off Robert Scorpio outright has sparked intense discussions. Could it be a murder mystery that ropes in old adversaries from his WSB days, like the cunning Casadinis, or a long-forgotten foe from his Australian roots? Such a plot would not only provide high-stakes drama, but also allow for crossovers with other characters who share his storied past. Fans point out that off-screen deaths have been handled before, as seen with other icons, but Robert's status as a fan favorite demands something more poignant. The likelihood of a recast seems slim, given Rogers' irreplaceable portrayal. His sharp wit, Australian accent, and effortless charm define the character in ways that a new actor might struggle to replicate. Instead, the show could opt for a heartfelt send-off, perhaps integrating real-world tributes through in-show memorials, adding a creative twist. What if the storyline involved Robert discovering a hidden family secret in his final episodes, tying up loose ends from his relationships with ex-wives like Anna Devane or his daughter Robin, while introducing a new Scorpio heir to carry on the legacy? Social media has become a bustling hub for these theories, with General Hospital enthusiasts sharing their hopes and fears. One viewer pondered, if they're going to end his arc, make it epic, maybe heroic sacrifice saving Port Charles from yet another catastrophe. Another added, don't just fade him out, give us closure with a bang, involving his trademark gadgets and espionage flair. These comments highlight the emotional investment fans have in Robert, who has evolved from a dashing secret agent to a wise patriarch over the years. Some suggest a more subdued approach, like having Robert retire to a peaceful life in Europe, perhaps reuniting with Holly Sutton in a scenic villa, allowing the character to live on off-campus without abrupt finality. To expand on this, envision a scenario where Robert sends occasional video messages or letters to his loved ones in Port Charles, keeping his spirit alive through subtle nods and dialogue, which could serve as Easter eggs for longtime viewers. The prospect of a tribute episode looms large in these conversations, and it's easy to see why it would be a fitting homage. Coordinating such an event might involve bringing back key players from Robert's orbit, including Emma Sams as the enigmatic Holly, Kimberly McCullough as the resilient Robin Scorpio Drake, and Jason Thompson as the steadfast Patrick Drake. Even Sophia Matson's Sasha Gilmore could make an appearance, perhaps as a recast or in a pivotal role that connects to Robert's extended family ties. Fans have proposed timing this episode around significant anniversaries, such as the date of one of Robert's legendary saves, like thwarting the Ice Princess scheme, or battling the villainous Mikos Casadini. Inventing a fresh detail here, picture a special montage in the tribute that flashes back to unaired lost scenes from Robert's early days, revealing untold adventures that add depth to his character arc and give viewers a sense of closure, mixed with nostalgia. Beyond the logistics, the outpouring of affection for Robert Scorpio underscores his enduring appeal. A devoted follower shared, from his first appearance as the suave WSB agent, Robert captured hearts with his blend of humor and heroism. If any character deserves immortality in soap lore, it's him. This sentiment echoes across platforms, with many recalling iconic moments like his whirlwind romance with Holly, or his protective instincts toward Robin during her health crises. To enrich this, let's imagine a fan-favorite subplot where Robert's influence inspires a new generation of characters, perhaps mentoring a young detective in Port Charles who emulates his investigative style, ensuring his legacy permeates future storylines without needing his physical presence. Of course, the show's history with handling actor departures offers clues to what might unfold. Remember how General Hospital dealt with the off-screen death of Luke Spencer, played by Anthony Geary? It was a subtle nod rather than a grand spectacle, which some fans felt shortchanged the character's impact. In Robert's case, there's a stronger case for something more elaborate. Given his integral role in multiple eras of the show, producers might draw inspiration from real-life tributes and other soaps, like memorial episodes that blend fiction with heartfelt acknowledgments, adding an inventive element. What if the tribute included guest appearances from former co-stars sharing improvised anecdotes, blurring the lines between the actor's life and the character's journey, for an emotionally resonant experience? As speculation builds, one thing is certain: the void left by Tristan Rogers will be felt deeply. But it also opens doors for innovative storytelling. Will Robert Scorpio meet a tragic end in a blaze of glory? Or will he ride off into the sunset, leaving a trail of unanswered questions? The beauty of soap operas lies in their ability to evolve, and General Hospital has a track record of respecting its history while pushing boundaries. Fans are encouraged to stay engaged, sharing their ideas and supporting the show through this transition. In the meantime, keep an eye on official announcements, as the producers are bound to address this sooner rather than later. Next, we will learn about the exciting transformations brewing in Jason Morgan's storyline, as he navigates potential life-altering decisions in the ever-evolving landscape of Port Charles, where alliances shift and personal lives intertwine with high-stakes drama. Jason Morgan stands at a crossroads that could redefine his entire existence. Recent spoilers hint at a seismic shift for the stoic enforcer, with whispers suggesting he might finally sever ties with the dangerous mob world that has defined him for so long. Imagine Jason, long entangled in sunny Corinthos' shadowy operations, trading his gun for a quieter path, perhaps embracing a fresh start filled with genuine connections and stability. This pivot could be catalyzed by his enduring bond with Elizabeth Weber, a woman who has weathered storms alongside him through thick and thin, adding a layer of intrigue. What if Jason's departure from the mob involves a covert deal with federal agents, exposing old secrets that ripple through the Corinthos organization and force him into hiding, only to resurface in Elizabeth's orbit with a renewed sense of purpose? Exploring the heart of this speculation, the question arises: should Jason truly abandon the business and rebuild his life with Elizabeth? Beyond his complicated history with Sam McCall, Elizabeth has been a constant presence, offering unwavering support during Jason's darkest hours, from memory losses to near-death experiences. Their connection, rooted in shared parenthood and mutual respect, feels like a natural evolution, especially now as Jason grapples with grief and introspection. Fans envision a romantic rekindling that starts subtly, perhaps with Elizabeth providing solace after a family tragedy, leading to stolen moments that reignite old flames. To invent a fresh twist, picture Jason discovering a hidden letter from his past that reveals Elizabeth's unspoken sacrifices for him, prompting a heartfelt confession under the stars at the Weber family home, blending vulnerability with the promise of a mob-free future. Social media is ablaze with General Hospital devotees weighing in on this potential pairing, their comments painting vivid pictures of what could be. One enthusiast shared, "I'm crossing my fingers for a proper wrap-up to Jason's fling with Britt Westburn, paving the way for him to find real happiness. With Elizabeth, it's always begun with one helping the other in crisis, evolving into those irresistible chance encounters that stir up buried emotions." This sentiment captures the organic chemistry fans crave, highlighting how Jason and Elizabeth's history could blossom into something profound. Expanding on this, let's imagine a storyline where Jason, fresh from a mob skirmish, collapses at Elizabeth's doorstep, and her nursing skills not only heal his wounds, but also mend his fractured spirit, setting the stage for a slow-burn romance that contrasts his turbulent past. Looking ahead to what's next for Jason, the buzz centers on pivotal moments that could spark this union. A fan noted, Elizabeth stepping up for Jason at that emotional funeral might just be the spark they need to reunite. It's time for them to explore what they've always danced around. Such catalysts often propel soap opera couples forward, and in Jason's case, it could mean confronting his identity beyond the hitman role. Delving deeper, Consider an added element where Jason attends a therapy session mandated by a court order, tied to his mob exit, where he uncovers suppressed feelings for Elizabeth, leading to a therapy breakthrough that echoes through heartfelt conversations with his sons, drawing parallels to his own fractured upbringing. The family dynamics at play add another compelling dimension to this narrative. Critics have pointed out, Elizabeth would step into the role of a nurturing stepmom for Danny, channeling the guidance Sam would have wanted, while finally reuniting Jake with both his parents. This vision extends to the broader blended family, with Cameron and Aiden warming to Jason as a steady stepfather figure, and even Rocco and Scout enjoying playdates that strengthen sibling bonds. One commenter enthused, Alexis might even give her blessing, seeing how Jason's stability could benefit everyone involved. To enrich this with a new invention, envision a family gathering at the Quartermain mansion where Jason bonds with Danny over motorcycle rides, sharing stories of his adventures, while Elizabeth facilitates a touching moment where the kids create a family tree project that symbolizes their merging lives, fostering unity amid Port Charles chaos. Yet, some fans lament missed opportunities in the writing that could have deepened these connections. Earlier, a viewer reflected, the show dropped the ball by not having Danny and Elizabeth share a bonding scene. After he overheard about Monica's passing, he could have discussed loss, family ties, and how Elizabeth, as Jake's mom and Sam's friend, is there for him like extended family. This oversight highlights the potential for emotional depth, where Elizabeth could offer Danny comfort, drawing from her own experiences with grief. Inventing an extension. What if a flashback episode revisits this moment, retroactively adding a private conversation where Elizabeth shares a cherished memory of Sam, helping Danny process his emotions and subtly foreshadowing her growing role in Jason's world, complete with tearful hugs and promises of support. As these threads weave together, Jason's journey promises to be one of redemption and renewal, possibly marking the end of an era for the mobster archetype in General Hospital. Will he fully commit to a life with Elizabeth, building a home filled with laughter instead of gunfire? Or will old loyalties pull him back into the fray? The writers have a golden opportunity to explore themes of change and second chances, perhaps introducing new challenges like Jason starting a legitimate business, such as a security firm that utilizes his skills ethically, while navigating co-parenting complexities. Fans are eager for developments that honor Jason's complex history, from his Quartermain roots to his unbreakable friendships. It goes without saying that to catch every twist in Jason's evolving saga, ABC General Hospital fans should tune in daily and hit that subscribe button on our channel for in-depth spoilers, character breakdowns, and fan theory discussions. What do you think's hold Jason leave the mob for good and embrace a future with Elizabeth? Share your predictions in the comments below, and let's speculate together. Stay tuned for more updates.